Hi everyone, it's Meade with another vlog chat for you. Well, not long ago I did a video on losing a parent, and of course I lost my mother when I was very young. Well, this July 21st I'll be coming up on the 30th anniversary of her death, and I didn't realize how much that event impacted my life and how much it influenced a lot of my choices, a lot of my decision making, and almost a lot of things. Everything that came to be, not everything, but a lot of things were influenced by that one major event. And through divine revelation, the Lord has been showing me that it really affected me on a much deeper level than I realized. A lot of my problems with identity and personality, and why I feel like there's a schism, and why I can't relate to other people, is part of the autism spectrum, but it's also connected to my mother passing when I was so young. In this modern era, we don't really expect to lose parents when we're young. We expect them to be around for a long time, but interestingly enough, I was visiting a plantation somewhere. They're talking about the Victorian times when a lot of children would die very young, and parents would, mothers would die in childbirth, and it was just an expected part of life. Death was very much a part of that. But I was not really prepared to lose my mother, and I didn't realize how much of my identity was in my mother, and I don't understand. I had a lot of more questions than answers. I didn't understand why my mother was the way she was. I'm starting to get a bigger picture now, but it was hard to understand the family dynamic and what made her the way she was and why did she do certain things. And bless her heart, she was really good at raising us. She was very generous and very supportive, but she did have a lot of hang-ups, and I got a lot of hang-ups as on my own, in my own life. And but I do know that after my mother died, I had a very hard time accepting it. I actually couldn't, and I think I went into denial about it, but also went into my fantasy, my escapism, because I just couldn't face that hurt. And so I went into this world of, I'm going to be a famous musician one day. I'm going to have, lots of fans, and get to travel the world and sing for people. And that was one fantasy in particular, but also had, dreams and ambitions of romantic love, and a lot of problems that I had trouble with, as I explained in earlier videos. I just did not relate to a lot of my peers, and I had a hard time adjusting. But my mother, when she passed, left our family with a myriad of problems. My father was still working, but his company was about to go under, and he just wasn't prepared to be a single parent. And my siblings were older, and they had their own issues. So I was sort of left. I felt abandoned. I felt abandoned because I didn't have a stability. The golden warmth and security of my younger days was gone in an instant. And so I turned inward. That's why I do believe that my personality might have changed to a degree, from an ENFP to an INFP, possibly, because we still have these same cognitive functions, just in reverse. But that aside, regardless of personality theory, I know that the Lord is showing me that my mother's death did affect me on a big level, and that's why I want to look back. One of the questions I had was, why do I have nostalgia? Why do I have such deep yearning for the past? Why do I always want to retreat to the past and not move on to the future? And even, places in my life that were terrible. I don't want to be a teenager again, but sometimes I have a yearning. I watch a television program or hear a song, and it'll just take me back, and I'll say, I reflect, and I get very reflective and very deep, and I just wonder why. And the Lord is showing me, well, my mother's died, and it left confusion. It left a distortion, a distorted memory. It created a void. It created yearning to make things right again, to make them whole again. And so through this process, I'm working through a lot of hurt that the Lord is going to heal me emotionally, because these emotional scars that are embedded upon my soul, not just for my mother's death, but a whole culmination of things. I do think that though her dying really affected the outcome of my life, and I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm not trying to say, that's why I failed, but it kind of had a problem impact, because had my mother not died, I do think that my life would be very different today. A lot of things that I did, a lot of problems I had would have changed. When I was 16 years old, I had a mild nervous breakdown. I had to quit school, and I was homeschooled, and I had no friends. I felt very isolated, and I just retreated more and more into this fantasy world. But I felt like my mother was on vacation. I felt, she's coming back, she's on vacation. But of course, that's not true. She's gone, and she's with the Lord, and that's the important thing. That the message I got, that she went to heaven. And a lot of these things, a lot of these questions, I will never know until I get to heaven. But it did leave a void in my life. It left a proclivity to fantasize and to escape and to use probably food for comfort. I probably wouldn't have had a weight problem had my mother not died. I probably wouldn't have had a lot of issues I have with people. A lot of even my online stuff is probably related to that. I have just a very different way of looking at things. So anyway, through revelation and through what the Lord is showing me, it is helping me in some ways, because it explains a lot. A lot of the, why do things feel so different? Why do I not feel like things are complete? Why does I always feel like something's missing, even after I became a Christian? And that is because it's my mother. That's what left. That relationship is gone, and it left me at a very early stage of my life that I needed it. I needed that to continue, and it was gone. And so I think that explains why I was left with this hole. But as I don't think I'll ever get over it. I won't get over her loss, but I will move forward. And it is helpful to know that is a root of many of my problems. That the cause of many of my problems had to do with that one particular thing. And I think for other people who maybe have lost parents when they were young, they probably have come to the same revelation, the same conclusion, that their parents dying at a time when they're very vulnerable and left sort of isolated, with a lot of questions. It probably affected them as adults. Arrested development, maybe part of me, I'm stuck at 11 or 12 years old. I also think part of me is stuck at 16 years old or 20. And it really does. As you become an adult, it doesn't necessarily get better with age. It gets more manageable. But I do know that I do have problems. I do have a lot of emotional problems and a lot of personality things that are probably all related to that. So anyway, I just want to share that with you folks, and I think that it's very helpful for me to make a video about it, because it feels like I'm getting something out, and I can connect the dots. I'm connecting the dots. And the puzzle of, what happened to me? Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? What happened to make me turn out the way I did? So again, not an excuse, but just a very clear revelation of how losing a parent so young can probably alter the course of your life. So thank you all for watching. Go to my website at meadskeletsplace.com. And remember, folks, say a prayer for someone special today. God bless. Bye.